morning, Caviar Dreamers.
Hello, Caviar Dreamers.
I just want you to know it's early AM. I'm up. I have my makeup on, which is shocking because I'm normally not dressed till like 1 in the afternoon.
And it looks so good. She did your eyes so good today.
Yeah, I have it on. And Marty did my makeup, which I was very, very happy about. And I got up early because I wanted to look good because I was taking Bella for her teeth scaling.
You wanted to look good for the teeth scaling?
Yes, Bella was also, my dog was also having some teeth removed. But since it's raining out and flash flooding, I got nervous.
You did. I get it. First, I was like, okay, you're hypochondriac. You're being a bit of a mentalist, not taking it in a flash flood. She'll be fine. She's a dog. But then what you said makes sense, that they could lose power.
Yeah, I'm not going to have them lose power while Bella is getting her teeth done. She's under anesthesia, and then and then Bella's going to die on the table, poo, 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 while she's getting her teeth extracted.
All the signs.
Yeah, she has bad teeth. They want to take some of her teeth out, possibly all of her teeth, which I'm not going to allow. I don't want her gumming to death, gumming her food.
We'll have to get her some veneers.
Yeah, she'll need to get little dentures, little doggy dentures, but I was not going to do it. So her teeth extraction is going to be delayed.
Okay. Do we find a new date?
In a week. So maybe by the time this is airing, her teeth will be cleaned and out.
Okay, that's not so bad. But the good news is you're all in glam, ready for the
extractions. I'm all in glam, and her and I are going to be spending the day together, and Bella lives to eat a steak another day.
Well, if she can eat a steak.
With her full teeth.
With the full teeth.
With a full mouth of bad breath and dirty teeth, but looking gorgeous as ever.
Smiling with those little fangs.
With the little fangs ear to ear. But I'm super excited because we have an amazing guest today, someone who is very dear to my heart because her and I have a very similar outlook on life.
You do, yes. We have the creator of Olive and June, which is not just an amazing salon in Beverly Hills, but an incredible at-home manicure system, which on a day like today, when you don't want to leave your house, doing your own manicure and pedicure doesn't sound so bad. They developed all the tools to make it so easy to do it yourself at home. Things that steady your hand, things that help your foot, all like really, really good stuff.
Yes, and beautiful, beautiful colors. And I've been using the cuticle oil. I just love it. And she's all about the glam, and it's named after her 2 grandmothers. The packaging is great. And you know me, my biggest pet peeve in life, if anybody knows me, is a chipped nail or chipped toenail. So to have these beautiful manicure sets at home, especially during the pandemic, was so important.
I also love that Sarah came from a really from a serious finance background.
Yes, and so she started this business
and she
in the right way.
Exactly. So,
and Sarah's waiting, so we're going to admit her right now.
Hi guys.
Hi, how are you?
I'm happy to be here.
I know, we're so excited to have you, and we just love everything that you've created, and we're just telling our listeners all about you. And I mean, you are so everything that I am about.
Yes, you two are definitely kindred spirits. I don't know if you've ever known this about Margaret, but she cannot stand a chip nail or toenail. Like if
my
someone
biggest
has
pet peeve in life.
Like I have never seen her with one. Once
never in my life,
and I've never seen anyone go
I'm
faster
not kidding
to the nail salon.
Never.
It's like not normal.
I have never had a chip nail or toenail. If I have, I run right to the salon. I have every color polish in my home that I ever have on my nail or toe. I will fix it. I will have anxiety about it. If I see other people with chip nails or toenails, I'm repulsed. I comment. No, I comment on it. I don't understand. I think it's a social responsibility.
I understand that. I literally, when we first had the idea for the at-home kits, I literally, my first reasoning was because everyone felt like they couldn't do it themselves. Like they didn't and so if their nail chipped, they had to run to the salon. And I literally was like, we need a solution for that. That was where it started from. So I understand. I also do not like a chip nail, although it's a kind of a hidden secret, and not so hidden secret with my team, that I love a black chip mani, because I feel like it's like you've been out the night before, but only for like one day.
Yes.
Only like a move.
Like a rock and roll move.
Yeah, like last night was crazy. He was so hot, and then we redo the mani.
Yes.
Like
yeah, your eyeliner has to be smudged. You have to look like, you've been out all night, your hair all screwed up.
You're in a sweatshirt, like for sure.
Yeah, that's okay. But everything else is unacceptable. And so you've created something that will eradicate that. And I am just so happy. But I just want to hear about your background, because you don't come from a beauty background originally. You come from a finance background.
That's right. That's right. Living in New York, so close to y'all. I grew up in the East Coast, and I went to college in the East Coast, and then I went straight and worked in finance for 10 years. And I was an equity sales trader at JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley. So I basically I made sure that traders at hedge funds were really happy, like they, shepherding their orders, and caretaking them. And so, but I always had a manicure. Like that was my one thing. Even when I was like a baby sales trader and I had no money and I just started out in the city, and I couldn't, I was probably like buying clothes on credit cards just to be able to afford it. And I always had a manicure. My nails were always done. And so I loved nails even then. And then at some point I thought, I need to do something different. I'm not excited by making people who already have a lot of money more money. And I'm not excited. Like I don't wake up and think like, ooh, let me read the Wall Street Journal. This is really interesting. I literally wake up and think, what happened on the Housewives last night?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is not for me. And so I started researching like just other businesses out there, businesses generally. And I went to LA, saw Dry Bar, and fell in love. And was like, what is this place? What happens here? Why is this so great? And then at some point I was like, I'm going to do the Dry Bar for nails. This just makes total sense. So it's been a long progression of being in a job that I think I was pretty good at, but not super fulfilled by. And then thinking, what can I do with my life? Like, what do I really want to be doing? And hanging out in a nail salon and talking to people, and then ultimately teaching them how to paint their own nails. Definitely, it became very clear to me.
Oh, I love that. So you came up with Olive and June. That was your grandmother's names, correct?
That's right. My grandmother and great grandmother.
Oh, I love it. And they had high style. Was it something, they were very glamorous women?
Oh yes. Well, they were just like very particular. So June is still alive, and it's so funny because she literally, when she got our cuticle serum, she was like, this is so good. And I was like, no, I know, it's really great. It like hydrates your cuticles and like all that dry skin by your nails. And she's like, no. It's like really good. Like I use it. I'm like, I made it. I know. I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, I get it. So they are very particular. My grandmother's still with us. My great grandmother's not with us. She lived till she was 101.
Wow. Good.
Very particular, but like, oh, by the way, always had a drink, always was like ready to party, like very fun. And then my grandmother June is a little bit more buttoned up, but always had her nails done. Always, everything was always perfect. Styled with jewelry, she's like very put together. And so when I named it after them, it was really all about naming it after women that inspired me, that both worked incredibly hard. Both had jobs, and both were like very hardworking. My grandmother June was an OB nurse for a really long time. And just like had very high standards and like wonderful humans. So it was a great honor to name it after them.
Oh, I love that. So inspiring. And I just want to add in about the cuticle oil. I love it as well, because my cuticle is very dry, and I've been using it, and it's amazing.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you like it. I know it's one of those things that it makes your mani look fresh. So it's like really hydrating, and it's really great for hydrating properties. But for me, I'm a little bit more superficial. So I'm like, oh, I just want my mani to look like I just walked out of the salon every day. I just want that.
Yeah, it does. It looks so great. So when you started your salon, what was it? You decided, all right, I'm moving to California. You left New York. I'm moving to California and opening up Olive and June. How did this come about?
Well, I was going through kind of a crazy time in my life where I wanted to leave my job. Like I knew that I wasn't going to do finance forever. And I didn't know what I was going to do next. So then I started going to LA a ton and interviewing and talking to people. I just felt like I'm a pretty type A person. And so I do really well in environments that are a little bit more calming. People might not think that LA is super calm, but compared to New York, it absolutely is much more chill. And so I started interviewing, and I met my now second husband. So I was like going through a divorce. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of this like life. And I met my now husband. Then my dad said to me, he goes, well, I guess you're really going to move to LA. Like this is really going to happen. Because I think probably until I met Ben, probably it would have been a question mark had I found a job or had I found like, and I didn't have the idea for Olive and June yet. So, so it kind of happened at this crazy time in my life. And then it became very clear, oh, I'm definitely doing this.
I love that. New York is I always say New York is like the best, worst relationship you ever had. It like is the most exciting place, gives you the most amazing memories, but it also could ruin your life in an instant. Like, so hard. So I understand relax, like leaving to LA and starting afresh again. Because it's a tough place.
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm from Connecticut and New Jersey. And then I went to school in upstate New York. And then I worked for 10 years in New York. And so you would have thought, I'm not a person that I think would have left very easily. But I just like had this moment. I was like, I'm moving. Like, I'm just going to do it. And it's so interesting because I don't think to your point, like, I don't think if all of those things hadn't happened, like I was getting divorced and I was really I was kind of just, my job was fine, but I was like, I'm never going to really want to do that. Like, and it had been 10 years. But it kind of all had to happen at the same time. But New York grinds you down in a way that I think I just had this moment, and then I met Ben, and then I was going. So
how did you learn about the nail business though? I mean, this wasn't your business, this wasn't what you were formally trained in. So did you go get formally trained? It's
such a good question because I didn't. And one of the reasons I didn't is because I had met a bunch of manicures. So basically I went to Dry Bar, fell in love, and was kind of circling the idea of like what else in this affordable luxury space is interesting to me, because I clearly love a blowout, but I definitely am not like diehard about hair. Like, to me, that wasn't my thing. And so I remember then I was like on vacation. I was like, oh, I'm going to do the Dry Bar for nails. Like, I'm obsessed with nails. And so I'd always, to what we talked about before, loved having a manicure. But what I did is I started interviewing manicurists. And I said, what do you like about working in these salons? What don't you like about working in these salons? I started going to trade shows and asking a lot of questions. And what I realized was that a lot of manicurists felt like they were competing with the owner. Like, the owner was always the best manicurist. And so I thought to myself, I can't elevate the people who are working at the salon that I want to create if I'm competing with them for clients. And so I didn't get formally trained. In fact, I really tried to take the business side of it, and then elevate the manicurists so they were the talent in the salon.
That's so smart.
That is smart. I mean, that is actually great because like you're empowering the people that work for you. You're not competing with them, and you're doing the behind the scenes and growing the business.
And that came up also when we were talking to Ted Gibson about like the industry. And they've started an amazing like industry charity now to like help people and empower people in the industry, because a lot of the time, like you say, it's the same in the hair business. People are competing with the owner, and owners are not bringing their staff up because it's a competitive business.
Absolutely. And usually the name on the door is the best person at the salon. Like, that's how they started their salon, because they were amazing at what they do. And so then they start their own place in all fields. Right. But I think for me, and we did also during COVID, what we realized when we had to shut down, we decided not to reopen. And what we decided to do was to take all of our supplies and gift them to our manicurist team. And actually, former manicurists who used to work at Olive and June came as well. And we gifted everything we had. And it really gave the manicurists the opportunity to start their own businesses and their own small shops. And the reality is that anyone who's talented at what they're doing, like, deserves like a head start, right? And like really deserves that support. And so we have a directory on our website that you can find our manicurists and book them directly.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
It's amazing. It's really given the talent the ability to be talent. And I think nail salons are amazing, but I do think that they can sometimes limit what the talent can do. And so it's really exciting to see all of our manicurists now are doing. I mean, clients still call me and say like, will you please like connect me with so-and-so? So we're constantly connecting still, and sending jobs their way, but it's really exciting to see them build their own businesses. And supporting that is really, it fills my love tank, as they say.
Olive and June, now you're just doing your kits, your at-home kits.
Right.
You're strictly online.
We're online and we're sold at Target. Like because we only have a small selection at Target, people don't know because
Yes, the whole
it's
thing.
like,
Okay.
we have 100 colors on our site and we have like, 20 colors at Target, and people get so upset because they're like, I want Target to carry it all. I'm like,
I know.
Go tell your local Target.
Yeah, your colors are magnificent.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you have a lot of great colors, and and you know what it is, they're so sophisticated and so saturated, and they just look, just so high end. Because listen, you broke into an industry where there's like, the SEs and the OPIs, and then now you have you, which is great.
Oh, thank you. It's fun I think it's a really hot category that has had the same companies for a very long time. So it's really exciting to be part of this new wave of nail companies that really, is taking on an industry and bringing a fresh perspective. And I think for us, like really focusing on that at-home experience and creating systems that actually give you that salon manicure at home has been incredibly rewarding, because you're actually democratizing the industry versus, I think people say like, oh, we're democratizing this. It's like, it's all kind of like marketing speak. What we're really doing is bringing the salon home. And so that's really, really exciting for us.
I know. I just love the way, like, you thought it out so well, the way you could rest your foot on the little case.
Yeah,
on the pedis system. It's so great.
Little pedis system and the silicone.
Yeah, for your fingers. Like it's all stuff that when you think about it, how did no one think of this before? It's amazing.
Well, because I think everyone was creating products just for manicurists. It was like, oh, okay, here's your salon products to work on clients, which I totally appreciate, but there's also never been a consumer focused nail company, right? So for us, it's always about how are you going to do it at home? How annoying is it to do it at home? Why is pedicures are actually easier to do than manicures, but people are totally intimidated by them. And also like the positioning of your foot really matters. So if we make the case a foot stand, then it's, dual purpose, but also makes it so much easier to do it yourself, which is all we want, is that people can achieve this at home. So it was really exciting, obviously in the pandemic, to be that solution and that like sense of joy for people. But then the best part is when they see that it works and they're like, oh, I can do this. Because not everyone lives in places like we all do where like a mani is $15. Like most places are less, right? Most places manicures are $25, $30, and there's not enough manicurists for the amount of demand. So it's really exciting across the country to like really offer that solution.
Oh yeah, I've been to like small little towns, and I'm just like, where's the nail salon? No, but right,
Yeah,
it's like
true.
we're so used to it. LA, New York, New Jersey. Five nail salons on a
Wait till
street.
you go to England.
And it's so inexpensive.
England is the worst. I mean, I'm a nail person too, and I always had my nails done, even like in high school. My manicurist, Julie, who I was very close with. But
Julie, hi, Julie.
Julie was the best. But now you go, like, it's so expensive. Like my mom went to get her nails done the other day, and it was like for a gel manicure, I think it was like equivalent of like $70, something like that, $80. And you think how easy it would be. Gel polish, by the way, not UV gel, just gel polish.
I mean,
and by the way, ours is gel polish. So our polish is the long lasting polish. And for $80, you can get the whole system plus 6 colors. So
I'm going home in a few weeks. I'm taking it home for her.
Yeah, you have to. Oh, I'll send you a big package for your mom.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I'm gonna
yes,
take
the gel polish is key. That's what makes it last.
Yeah,
right?
You need it to last a long time. Otherwise, like regular polish just chips so fast. You need that polish with like the extra long lasting power in it, so that it actually stays on for 7 or more days.
I know, which is so important. So what's the hot nail shape? What nail shape? I see your nails are long. Like what?
Well, we are launching this in 1 week. So y'all are early to this, but we are launching press-ons in 1 week.
Are those your press-ons? I'm so excited about your
incredible.
press-ons. That's rumor has it press-ons. Press-ons are very hot.
Oh, these are
I know.
really
They're so cool. And we're going to have a press-on mani system too. So, but I think, to answer your question, I love a rounded shape. I love anything that's like round or oval or almond. I think it's, oh, you guys both have rounded?
Yeah, like almondy rounded. Like
look at you guys.
We're not the Jersey squares. I mean, some people on my show, I'm just not going to say, they have like that, I don't know, that bullshit square shape.
The chubby.
Wait, you guys are so LA because I feel like all of my New York friends like a square or squoval.
Well, when you go in a New York salon also and you go in and you ask for anything except ballet slippers, they look at you like you're insane. Like that pale pink. Like when I lived on the Upper East Side, I'd be like, I want a black, I want a gray, I want a navy, I want a forest green for the
No,
fall.
for the
Like,
fall.
no ballet slippers for you? No Lincoln
No,
Park after dark?
No,
Like,
for the
it's
fall.
pathetic.
For the fall, I do black, but in the summer, I do a pale.
But you're like a white pale, not like that, like nudie pale.
Yeah.
I'm so into this. I'm so into this whole conversation. By the way, one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast is I think you are like one of my most favorite people on the Housewives.
Oh, thank you. I'm so appreciative. Thank you. I'm so happy.
Literally, my team started laughing because they were like, this opportunity, like to go on the show. And I'm like, what's going on? And they told me, and I was like, oh my God. I was freaking out. I'm such a fan. I'm very particular about my housewives that I like. I won't talk any shit because that's like not who I am. But I think you bring such a levity. Like I think you bring like it's really, really quite good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'm glad the people I love, like you, like get me. Like some people just don't get me. They're like, you have bad style. I'm like, I have bad style.
I can't even imagine what it's like. But I think you come in and you have like such a solid relationship. And you're also such solid perspective on life. You've gone through enough shit to be like,
yes. I'm all
be like, you guys need, and also like when people are fighting, you're like, guys, this is like not real. Like, it's not important. Are you going to care about this in a month? Like, let's come on.
Yes.
And I think that that's a really good, because I know it's drama and I know that's why we're all watching it, but I do think you do have a good job of being like, let's just keep it like at a normal pace.
Now the beauty industry also is very dramatic. Was it hard going from like a corporate structure to like a beauty loose fluid kind of like dramatic industry? Because I imagine like it's a hard transition.
Yeah, I think anyone who's creative, I don't know that I would call it dramatic. I think I would say anyone who's creative thinks in a different way, and than people who are very like business oriented and linear thinkers. And I think I had a really rough time kind of transitioning into that because I think in a bit of I'm like creative-ish, but I'm pretty linear in my thinking. And so to me, which is why, of course, I love you and think you're great for the show because you're just a calming effect.
Thank you.
And so I think for me, like going into a different industry, it was hard to navigate a bit because I didn't have the experience of creative thinkers. Like, I mean, finance is very like numbers and analytical. So it was hard for me. And I struggled, and they used to joke that every time they come to me with a problem, I'd say, I'll fix that. I'm going to fix that. And I just kept saying it, and they're like, you're always going to fix something. I'm like, no, I'm going to fix it, because I didn't really know how to even respond. But the team was so generous with me and teaching me. And I think ultimately I grew such a great appreciation for how much it takes to be someone that's super creative, and how much emotional energy that takes. And so I hope I learned to really adapt to that lifestyle. But it's definitely way different than straight business.
Oh, I'm for sure. Yeah, for sure. We have an emotionally charged team for sure here because we have a lot of creativity going on, and there's an energy that is so uplifting, but when the energy shifts, it can be really, on the edge of your seat too.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like a direct person. I'm so direct. I'm like, if I'm upset about something, I'm like, I'm upset. But that's not always the way people want to take it. Like, they don't want to always take that directness. Sometimes you have to learn it. It's like every child gets parented differently. Like, everyone you work with, you interact with differently. And I think that I had worked with a lot of similar people. So then going to something totally different was definitely a challenge for me, and something that I think I still work on. I still think it's hard to manage people. I don't think it's like my strongest skill.
No,
I know what you're saying. Hard.
You're a good manager of people.
I think I'm very I think I'm coddling, but then
you're very nurturing.
I'm nurturing. Aww. I'm very maternal, but then sometimes it's like I'm direct and sarcastic, and then people get offended.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
I don't know.
You don't get offended easily.
I'm not weak sauce, So
I find it I find it really hard to manage people. I actually only manage our COO, and our COO manages the team, very like Sheryl Sandberg vibes. But for me, like, I'm very good at being like, okay, what's the next product we should make? Or what should we do on Instagram today? Or let's think of what the social strategy should be. But when I manage people and I really have to give direct feedback, it's really hard for me. And I find myself getting very self-deprecating and I like lose the thread. So, so it's like, it's good when it's just, I'm better as a cheerleader than a manager.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get good. And I think it's important to know like your strengths and your weaknesses, because that's the most important thing, right?
For sure.
In business.
For sure.
Let me just ask you, I want to go back to the press-on nails because I'm a little obsessed with them. How long do they stay on for?
So 7+ days. You obviously have to put enough glue on. Sometimes people with press-on nails don't put enough glue on. So that's really, you really want to put glue on both. For anyone who's putting on any press-on nails, you want to put glue on both the nail and your nail. So the press-on nail and your nail, if you want it to last for that 7 or more days. But aren't they great? They're so fun.
It looks so amazing.
The shape is so good.
This is almond long, so you'll love these. We'll send them all to you. Don't worry.
Oh,
I love
that.
But I think so we're coming out, so our press-on nails are going to be in 4 lengths, 4 shapes. So oval, round, almond, and squoval, so that you can find your shape. But Olive and June is a little bit better known for rounder shapes. So it's definitely more the iconic Olive and June shapes. They're upcycled plastic, so you can feel better about your manicure, which is so exciting. And they're only $10.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh my God, that's so inexpensive. Seriously.
I know.
What did you get for $10? It's like less expensive than Starbucks.
It's so fun because all the really cool press-ons are more expensive. And so we want to do like these iconic Olive and June manis that you get in the salon, but give them to you at a price that, again, you could buy at Target. You like feel really like super excited about it. For me, it has to be accessible. I was like that kid who like read the magazine when I was little and was like, I want Drew Barrymore's lip gloss, you know? And so it's really exciting to be able to give that to people everywhere and make it as accessible as possible.
Oh my God, this is magnificent. This
really
is so, I mean, seriously, I'm very excited about this.
And I know
ton of design. We'll do a ton of designs too. So Frenches, but also like a ton of like art designs, like flowers, etc. It's gonna be really fun.
I love nail art. Nail art's been
I know Lexi's big with the nail art.
But it's so, you can't do it yourself. Come on.
No, not at all. And I'll never forget when I first really got into it was when Valley Nails opened. And
I love Valley.
And May did my nails like a million years ago, and now she'd like moved here from Japan, and she did my nails.
Tom Manhattan.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. She's wonderful.
Like the hugest. I mean, I was like, to see that growth was amazing. She's incredible.
So Valley was started by someone who's from the Valley in LA.
I didn't know. I figured it must have been something, but when they came up, but you could never get an appointment. Yep. And it also was super expensive. So I love that you're doing something with nail art that brings it to be accessible, because nail art is not always the most accessible thing for people.
And at Valley, which I loved, I think it was Nina was her name that started it. It's now closed, but I loved her. Valley, you'd have to go, and literally, if you did not know your art, like before you sat in that seat, like you were bounced out. Like it was hardcore.
Yeah, they were really hardcore.
Yeah. So that was my point. Is that so? Yeah, because we're launching with 44 styles. So
wow, what 44? That's a lot.
It's insane. So 22 will have art, but like for me, we're going to keep rolling art. So you have to tell me what your requests are, because we're going to keep launching them. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I love also told us that you did a collab with my girl, Katie Storino, who I
love her.
She's great. She's great.
I love her so much. Katie, we were on set for a day, like doing all of our, doing the videos and stuff. She made me laugh so hard. Like I have not laughed that hard in a really long time. She is so funny.
She is. She
She's
is so
really
funny. She's great. I mean, she's a powerful woman. I think she's adorable. I love her since she had her little dog, little Toast.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Toast. I know her a long time. So I think that's so great. So everybody who comes on the podcast, we ask them a few questions. What do you think was your big girl panty moment where you're like, holy crap, like, you know, I got to do this sink or swim, like your big girl panty moment?
I probably had two.
Okay.
The first was when we first opened the salon. We were like 3 days in, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore." And I turned to my husband and was like, "This is awful," because like it was just hard. People were coming at me from every direction, and my husband's like, "You're strapped in the roller coaster. Like we're here.
You're strapped in. You're not jumping." That's a good line.
He was like, "We're here." And then I think the second was, again, obviously same career moment. The second was when we were about to launch the Manny system, and we have a thing called the Poppy, which you can paint, you know, basically become ambidextrous with it because you can paint both your hands with the Poppy. It's a handle. It makes it super easy to paint with your non-dominant hand. And I remember I had this video, this like marketing video, and I showed my marketing advisor, and I was supposed to go away on this retreat to like in the woods and like, I don't know, find myself. And it was right before the launch. And he was like, "This video is so terrible. Like you cannot launch the Poppy with this video. And this retreat, you're not going to find yourself. You're going to find this video is what you're going to do." And so that was a big moment for me to be like, oh, I'm not at the level I need to be at. Like I'm launching this, by the way, patented tool, and the video sucks. And so for me, like that was a real eye opener of like, every moment has to be taken so seriously. You can't just like think, oh, we built this brand, all these celebrities like it, so like it's all good, I'll just launch this thing in the world. No, like every moment has to be so thought out. And so those two moments were a bit eye-opening for me.
I know when you get feedback like that, you're probably like, oh my God.
I was like, no, I'm going to find myself in the woods. He's like, no, you're going to go find yourself in this video. So
I'm here. I know, but it's good. I mean, you can't surround yourself with smoke blowers, which is good.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like no people. I do not like yes people. I mean, it can be very uncomfortable, but I think I surround myself with people that are smarter than me at what they do. Like if I'm smarter than you at your job, like that is a problem for me. Yeah. I don't want that. I want people that are like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like not in a mean way, but just like push on me.
No, that's great advice for anyone starting a business, because that's the only way to keep it real.
100%.
We always accredit Marge's success to being about 50% delusion to 50% determination. And that's kind of like the perfect balance we found. What would you say your percentage of determination to delusion is?
By the way, I call delusion irrational exuberance. And
yes,
I rebranded it. But I really appreciate delusion. Wait, so it's delusion and
determination.
Oh my God, I think I'm 100 on both.
Yeah. I'm glad you get it, because some people are like, I'm not delusional. I'm like, you don't care if you're not.
Yeah.
Oh, I think, yeah, I'm delusional. Like I'm a founder. I'm like, I believe that we are going to be the biggest nail brand in the world, period. And no one's going to tell me otherwise. And I've always felt that way, even when we were a baby brand and like one person knew about us. So yeah, so I think I'm 100 on both. That's my answer.
Good. I love that. Good. I feel the same way. I'm like Lexi. I'm like, oh, we're starting this other thing, and I'm just like, oh, don't even worry. We're going to fucking be in St. Bart's next year on our private plane. Like, what are you even worried about? You know,
until we launch the new flavor with a video and someone's like, you're not going to St. Bart's because that video is not good enough. You're going to stay in the video.
Find yourself in the private jet.
And then I got something wrong, and I'm just like, oh, it's only going to cost us this to launch. Oh my God, it's a few $100,000 more. I'm like, all right, so fine. It's like, you know what? We'll get the seed. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. But we did figure it out.
We did figure it out.
But it's just
but I think you're humble. I think the reality is like delusion can sometimes have a connotation of like you're delusional, that like you believe your own hype, but like you believe your own ability to get things done and to create wonderful things.
Yes.
You have at least always come off. It's a TV show, so who knows? But like, especially in this interview too, like
totally humble. I don't think I'm fucking fabulous. No, it's not.
You're like, you're real. You're like, I'm a real person.
No, just like you, like our ability to get things done and create great things. And and work and hustle and make things happen. That's
Totally.
that's our delusion. So anyway, we have one more thing. What is your most entrepreneur real advice that you could give somebody being an entrepreneur?
You know, I used to say that I used to be so supportive of everyone who had an entrepreneurial journey. Like I was like, go for it, do it. And now my biggest piece of advice is truly like assess it and only do it if you are 110% can't sleep at night, obsessive. Because I think that after building a brand for the past 8+ years, it's only because I am delusional and have irrational exuberance that we are still a brand that is growing every day. And so I think it can be heartbreaking for people when it doesn't go their way. And so I was like, I wanted everyone to start a business, just kind of like how I want everyone, including the two of you, to move to Los Angeles. I want everyone to be close to me.
No, I get it.
I want all these things for people. And now my biggest piece of advice is you have to be not sleeping because you're so excited about this thing and willing to put in, you know, more than 24 hours a day into it. Like just be so obsessed, because I think otherwise it won't go. Like businesses, things that are created out of nothing go because the person is just diehard.
Yeah.
You're right. I think you are absolutely right. Because I think people don't realize it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
And I say that all the time, and people think it's like everything's an overnight success. You're making millions, you know, and that's just not the fucking way it is.
I mean, everyone truly comes into the story when it's a success. So they never see the first like 7 innings of that game. And so it's just like, we didn't get to this place. We didn't get to be in Target and all these things because it was like, it happened yesterday. It's literally been 8.5 years. So
I think also the world that we live in now, where it's so easy for the smoke and mirrors for brands. There's new brands all the time, and people don't realize that, you know, people can make a brand look amazing. They could be doing absolutely no business, you know? So it's like you have to cut through the noise of all those things also now. So it's harder than it ever was. So you really need a passion to keep going.
There's companies that are doing billions in sales that no one's ever heard of. And
I know.
And then the brands you've heard of, a lot of them are probably sub $10 million. You know, it's like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think people believe that these brands are going to be different. And it's also in consumer, to your point, a really crowded space. So you really have to have a differentiated point of view, and you just have to be diehard about it. You have to be totally committed. And I think people tell me all the time, they're like, your life is so great because of Instagram. And the reality is my job is to make you think that I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a founder, my life is so perfect. My life is obviously not perfect. And it's hard, and I work all the time. And we were up till, you know, I'm in Austin for work, and we were up till past midnight working. So, you know, but on Instagram, you see that I had the most delicious Tex-Mex.
Yes.
So
Yes. I know. I feel the exact same way. Nothing that's successful isn't, you know, such hard work. And that's what I want people to realize. It's, you know, you have
Absolutely.
a passion, and to make it happen, you know, takes time, and to make money takes time. But if you want to go for it, like you said, you have to be obsessed.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think Instagram made life really great, really easy, really fun to get brands out there. But there's a certain level of anxiety that comes with it, where you have to always create content. Like, that's exhausting.
Boy, I'm exhausted.
Literally.
Thank you so much for coming on.
sharing your story and
it's
inspiring everyone.
So inspiring. Olive in June. I'm like, literally, I die. It's so good.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes.
You can find us at Olive in June on Instagram and TikTok. And you can find us at Olive in June, www.oliveinjune.com. And at Target.
Which I love. Exciting. Target, so good.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been wonderful. And I am here for all of the gossip and all of the nail stuff.
Yes, I am so excited.
They go hand in hand.
Nails and gossip. Where do you get all the gossip from if it's not from getting your
nails
done? From the nail salon, getting your nails done.
Hello.
It is just fantastic.
I love, especially that you went into an industry that you didn't know and didn't train to compete with the people working for her, which
Yes.
was really interesting. She knew her strengths and she knew that she wanted to hire people for their strengths and empower them to be great at their job. That's amazing.
Yeah. She's just an amazing businesswoman.
Yeah.
And how she said they closed the salon actually after COVID, empowered the nail technicians to open their own businesses. And they use the Olive and June product, of course. And Olive and June's in Target. Now she came out with the press-on nails, which are magnificent, everybody. They're available on Target.
Good.
But you know what? She's the entrepreneurial spirit. She went for something in an industry that she just loved, had never worked in. And I think her advice was great. If you are obsessed with something, you have to truly love it, a passion for it to make it succeed, because it's not easy. It's not easy, people. And it's 8 years in the making to get to the level she's been at.
Yeah, I think people underestimate how much work goes into stuff, how many roadblocks there are, how many no's you'll get before a door opens for you. It is tough.
It is
very tough.
It's not easy. So everything is a marathon. It's not a sprint, but I hope you guys are all inspired.
Yes. And you should go for those caviar dreams. Really think about what you want to do. Sarah was so, she was unhappy in her life in New York. It had run its course. And I think if you're unhappy, make changes.
It's true. You know what? Every day is a new beginning. That's what I always say. Every day is a new beginning, and you make your own destiny. Yeah. And she went for it, and she's much happier and inspired. And I hope that this podcast inspired all of you guys.
Keep dreaming.
Keep dreaming, caviar dreamers.